Hey guys, Chris, Midwest Bass Hunter, and I got myself a new kayak. So I just kind of want to walk through it with you guys and show it to you. It's a really neat kayak. It's really stable. It's a lot of fun. It's excellent for fishing out of. It is a fishing kayak. It's called a Native Watercraft 10.5 Titan Propel. So, like the name states, it's 10.5 feet long, and it's a propel drive. So it has the propel drive system to it. It's a pedal drive. It mounts right here, and then when you get into the water, you lower it down below the boat. I'll show you that once we get out on the water. You can pedal this forward and then instantly to reverse. Some of the other pedal kayaks out there with the different type of pedal systems, you have to pull a switch or flip the drive around to go in reverse. This, you don't have that. You just instantly pedal backwards. It's got a lot of neat features. We'll just run through those really quick. So it's got this seat, which has two positions. This is the high position, then you can lower it down to the lower position, which is about, I suppose 3 or 4 inches lower. Underneath the seat, we have a lot of room for storage. We can put lots of different stuff under there. And then this whole seat slides back and forth. It's on a rail system, so you can set where you want it to be. You can slide it further back, move it forward, depending on how tall you are and how it works for you when you're pedaling. It has a rail system, so you can mount different things all along the kayak. So there's a rail right here, rail here, same on the opposite side, and then you have a rail on the back. So you can mount different things. You can mount a fish finder, rod holders, things like that. This is a rod holder that's mounted on there. The other thing I really like, it has these rod tip protectors on it. So you can put a rod in the rod holder, and then the rod tip is protected. On my old kayak, I would try and bring more rods than maybe I should have. I had them laying out in front of me. You know, if I got close to the shore, I might run them into something. So you don't have that problem on this kayak. And I'll just kind of show you how that works. This is a 7-foot rod, and you just slide it in there, put it back here in your rod holder, and there it is. It's secured. And I guess really it's only meant for one rod, but I usually put 2 in each side, so it works no problem for that. Like I said earlier, this is a 37-inch wide kayak, so it's big, but it's really, really stable. So it's easy to stand up in. In fact, I pretty much stand up whenever I'm fishing. I'll get to where I want to fish, and then I'll stand up and fish. So it works really nicely. It has 2 scupper holes right here, and it comes with scupper plugs. So you can run with the scupper plugs in or out. I like to run with them in. Most people, I think, run with them out. But I like to run with them in because when I stand up, I don't really like when my feet get wet. So if I stand up in this, it kind of shifts my weight forward. And if the scupper plugs are out, then water comes into the kayak, which is no problem. I just prefer to not get my feet wet. So I run with those in. As I said earlier, the seat moves 2 height positions. You can move it back and forth. The seat mount right here, there's lots of room underneath, like I stated. And then you have these little tool holders right here. So like I have a pliers in this. It fits in there nicely. I have a scissors in there so I can cut braided line. And it works really nice. Got a little cup holder, put your water bottle or your soda pop. And then something else that's really nice is there is this rod holder right here. And what I really like about this rod holder is, so I'm in here, I'm fishing, I catch a fish, I'm gonna land the fish, sit down, grab the fish, I got the fish, I can put this rod right here, now I have both hands free so that I can handle the fish, unhook the fish, take a sweet picture, and put it back in the water, whatever. So that is really cool, I like that a lot. Right here in the middle of the kayak, under the propel. So when you're in the water, this is going to be under this right here. And so you have a little cutout here for, you can throw your cell phone there. You got a little cup holder, another little storage spot. And this just comes off with some bungee cords. I've actually known folks that actually just leave that at home and they don't put it on. It works just fine that way, but I'm going to drop stuff down that hole if I do that. So I don't do that. So this propel system, it mounts to the kayak with a bar right here. That bar just sits in this groove, and then there's 2 clips that hold it into place. The nice thing about this being removable, you know, and I think most pedal drive kayaks probably you can remove the drive. This weighs quite a bit, so if I'm gonna put this kayak in the back of my pickup or something like that, taking this off takes a lot of weight off of this kayak. So it's easier to handle and move around. Plus, if you're going to store these, you can stack them or lean them up against the wall, but you wouldn't want to do that with the Propel attached. There's little pads in here, just kind of grippy pads, so when you're standing up, you don't have you don't slip. There's pads right here on these grab handles, which work well when you're carrying the kayak or moving it around. There's 1 up front. There's 2 in the back. And this is a really heavy kayak, so it needs those grab handles. In fact, we like to move it, if we're going very far, we'd like to have me and my wife and one of the kids on each side, because without the seat and the Propel drive, it weighs 97 pounds. With the seat and the Propel, it weighs 127 pounds. So it's not like a 50-pound kayak you're just going to manhandle and throw around too easily. It's pretty big, and you know, it's pretty substantial. Something else, when you bring this Propel up out of the water, if the propeller is sideways, it's not going to fit through the hole. So what they've done is they put this on here, this little I don't even know what you call it. It's like a stop. You just, when you reach through there to pull it out of the water, you push this down. You do that, it goes up against the stop, and now you can pull it up without having to try and get the pedal in the right spot. They actually just added that. The older models didn't have that. One other thing here, we have this access port. So inside of here just goes to the inside of the boat, and it's all hollow inside of there, obviously. So you could store stuff in here. I'm not going to call it waterproof, but sometimes you do get some water in there. But it's not like it fills up with water. So you can put stuff in there, just you don't want it to be stuff that might be a problem if it gets wet. The other thing is it's just open all the way through the boat. So if you put something in there that's going to roll around, like if you put like a thing of sunscreen in there or bug spray or something, it might roll all the way to the back of the kayak. Now there is a port in the back of the kayak you can get in there too, but it's a lot thinner, or it's a lot, narrower back there, so it's harder to reach around in there and find what you're looking for. This has a tether on it, so it's not going to fly off going down the road. If it does, it'll stay attached. Or you don't drop it in the water if you're trying to get in there. Back here, it's got a little bungee cord system that you can use to, put a milk crate in there or whatever. And then right here, there is an access port. I really don't ever use that for anything. I suppose if I needed to get in there to do some modifications or whatever, then I could do that. Back here is your rudder, and the rudder is operated right over here. This handle, it's on your left side. So you turn this left to right, and that's how you operate your rudder. And you can see back here, it spins the rudder back and forth. And we're on land, so it's kind of against the ground. It doesn't work that well. It works great in the water. The other thing, when you're in a kayak with a pedal drive like this, especially this one, because it does catch weeds pretty good, you got to have a paddle with you. Now, I've seen guys, they get one of these just single paddles, the telescopic ones, kind of like you would use on a paddle board. We have just a regular kayak paddle, and there's two. Most of them, well, not all of them, but the ones that we have come apart. So they actually designed this so the paddle fits right there, and then there's a little clip to hold that in there. So your paddle's in your kayak, but it's not floating around or causing you any troubles. So like if I get into some weeds, usually I just pop one of those out and just use it like an oar, until I get out of the heavy weeds. So now I'm going to flip the boat up on its side and just kind of show you what the bottom of it looks like. So this is the bottom of the kayak. As you can see, it's really wide, and it's got a kind of a flat base. I mean, it's very, very stable. And this void underneath is kind of what helps it do that. Through here is where the propel drive will come out. There is this spot right here, and this is for mounting a skimmer transducer for a depth finder. I don't have one of those mounted up yet. That's in the plans. I'm going to do that, but I haven't done it yet. And there's lots of different ways to do that. You don't necessarily have to use this way, but that's one place to do it. And it has these holes, but they don't really go to anywhere. These are just go into the hole, but they don't go through like these two actually go through. Back here, it has a bit of a keel, and then here is your rudder. And the rudder is really simple to remove and put back on. It has like a little rubber bushing that goes in there, and it can wear out, so it's really easy to replace. It takes a screwdriver, one screw to replace it, so it's no big deal. There's a little plug back here to drain it if you get enough water inside that you need to drain it. Usually if I get some water inside, I will just tip the back of the kayak up so it goes to the front and take that front hatch cover off. It'll just evaporate out of there. And you really don't get much water in this kayak. Now I haven't been out in much big water, you know, so if I was out where there's a lot of waves or something, you know, you might take on some water, just through like the screw holes and different things like that on the side of the kayak. All right, so now we're gonna put it on the water and we'll show you a little bit about it when we're out on the water. So here we are out on the pond in the kayak. So we'll just get her going here. So you just pedal this and you drive along. It works pretty good and it goes pretty darn quick. I've clocked myself doing, let me turn this thing since we're in the wind. And you can see it turns pretty good. I've clocked myself doing about 5 miles an hour in this. It's a lot of work to go 5 miles an hour, but you can go 5 miles an hour in it, which is pretty quick. So it's really easy to stand up in this kayak. It's super stable, no issue standing up. I can easily turn around, face the other direction, so if I need to get to my gear, I can do that. I've got a kind of a milk crate back here with some different boxes in it. I got more than enough room. I got my soft plastic bags back there. I can put a cooler back there, whatever I want. You can put 500 pounds on this kayak, so there's plenty of payload capacity. Super stable in the water, and just a lot of fun to fish out of. The seat is really comfortable. Seating position is nice. I actually had some back issues, and having this raised seat, and it's really comfortable, and then the ability to just stand up whenever I need a break from sitting, it works really awesome. So as you can see, it's really stable. I mean, it does wobble a little bit, but you're not tipping this boat over. You can probably fall out of it, but I don't think you're gonna tip this thing over. You'd have to try really hard. It's super stable. Like I said earlier, I can spin around in it. Kind of hold on to something when I do it, but I can spin around. You know, I see a lot of kayaks that guys are standing in, and they got that little strap to pull them up so they can stand up. I just stand up in this. It's no problem at all. And sitting down, I just sit down like I'm in a chair. If I want to get to this hatch, I can just, what I do is I just kneel down in the standing area. I can pop it open and get in there and do whatever. I got a little rope I tie to the front just to help me launch it and get off of it. I can literally get in this kayak, just pull it right up to a dock, tie it off, just like a boat, and then step off right into it. It really is amazing how stable it is. And so it's easy, like I said earlier, to go backwards. Just go backwards. And then you can instantly go forward. It's no problem at all. And then to steer it, you just, like I said earlier, use this rudder and you can steer it left or right. Obviously, it's a little different than steering a car or anything else. It doesn't react really quickly. You kind of have to learn how to do it. And we're still kind of learning the best ways to do it. So yeah, I mean, it's not nearly as quick to turn as, say, a paddle kayak, where you can just dip your paddle in and just paddle on one side. But it does work really good. So, like I said earlier, if you get into some weeds, you just gotta pull this up. And I'll show you how that works, actually. So when you deploy this, I'll show you. You get onto the lake. Once you get away from shore, this is how it looks. So you just lift it up a little bit, flip this over, drop it down in there, clip these, clip that bungee cord back up, and then there's a little clip right here that you clip down to keep it from kind of moving around while you're pedaling. As I said earlier, when you pull up the Propel, you have to have it oriented right. Now, it was oriented right that time, and that time. So there it stops. So like I said, what they did, they put this thing on here. You just reach down there, press on it, pedal up to it, and you can pull it right out, no issues. So that's really a good addition that they made to this thing. So this kayak is really, really pretty awesome. I have a lot of fun fishing out of it. Next best thing to having a boat, really, in my opinion. And actually, it's a little easier than having a boat because I can just throw this thing in the back of my pickup. It's only 10.5 feet long. There's a lot longer kayaks out there, so only being 10.5 feet, I can still load it in my pickup with the short. I got a short box pickup, and I can load it in there. And I can go to a pond or wherever, and I can launch this thing and be fishing in a few minutes. Where with a big bass boat or whatever, you know, it's going to take a little bit more work, and that'd be a little bit tougher. I picked this kayak up at a local bait shop called Stan's Bait and Tackle in Milford, Iowa. It's near the Iowa Great Lakes. It's where I'm from. They do a good job every once in a while. In fact, they just did it last week or the week before. They have a kayak demo day, so they take a bunch of kayaks out and they let people try them out. And that's actually what I did. I tried out one of these and I was sold on it right away. It worked really nicely, and they'll do a good job up there. Great customer service, and they'll take care of you. Otherwise, if you don't live in the same area as me, there's lots of different places that sell these kayaks, obviously, and a lot of them do the same kind of demo days that Stan's does. So, you know, check one out. Go find a demo day, hop on one if you've never been on a kayak. I bought my first kayak when I was 35, and I wish I would have bought it a lot sooner because it's just an amazing way to fish. So, thanks for watching today, guys. If you like these kind of reviews or just good fishing videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that little bell so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you next time.